You're 15 years old and your world is 3 blocks long. You're sitting on a rusted plastic chair outside a convenience store in Culiacan, a warm Coke sweating in your hand. To the world, you're a ghost. To the plaza boss, you're an antenna. You have a burner phone and a single directive. Watch the white dust on the asphalt. If you see the Mexican Army's olive green trucks, you text Grizz. If you see the local police, you text Azul. But if you see a black SUV with tinted windows that doesn't belong to the neighborhood, you text Sombra. That's a rival cartel. You're paid $100 a week. It's more money than your mother makes cleaning hotels, but it comes with a tax you don't see yet. One afternoon, the heat is shimmering off the road. You blink for 5 seconds. In those 5 seconds, a convoy of federales rolls past. Your thumb freezes over the keypad. 30 seconds later, a heavy hand drops on your shoulder. It's El Lobo, the neighborhood enforcer. He doesn't scream. He leans in close, smelling of expensive cologne and cheap tobacco. The desert is full of boys who forgot to text, he whispers. You don't blink again for the rest of the week. Level 2, the transporter. You're 18 now. Your reflexes are sharp, and your fear is tucked away in a dark corner of your mind. A man meets you at a midnight diner and slides a set of keys across the table. He says, "Don't stop for gas in Sonora." You're driving a battered Ford F-150. The bed is piled high with crates of rotting tomatoes, the smell thick enough to make your eyes water. But hidden inside the spare tire and welded into the fuel tank are 10 kilos of blue ice, pure methamphetamine. If the Marines stop you, you're looking at 30 years in a concrete box. If you make it, you get $5,000. As you drive through the desert, every pair of headlights in the rearview mirror looks like a predator. Your heart hammers against your ribs like a trapped bird. You make the handoff in a warehouse that smells of salt and old oil. A man in a tracksuit hands you a duffel bag. When you get back, you buy your mother a new stove and tell her you're working for an import-export firm. She looks at the cash, looks at your cold eyes, and goes back to cooking. She knows. Level 3, the debt collector. 2 years of clean runs have earned you a promotion. You're not just a driver, you're an accountant. They give you a silver 9mm and a leather-bound ledger. Your job is to collect the floor tax. Every business in the plaza pays. The taco stand pays $300 a month. The pharmacy pays $1,500. The local nightclub pays $8,000. You walk through the front doors like you own the sunlight. Most people pay with trembling hands and forced smiles. But then there's the old baker, a man who used to give you free conchas when you were a kid. He says he can't pay, the protection isn't working, and a rival crew robbed his delivery truck. You feel a flicker of the old you, the boy in the plastic chair, but El Lobo is watching from the car. You don't hit the baker. You walk to the back of his shop and put a bullet through his industrial oven. Next time, you say, your voice sounding like someone else's, it's the flour and then it's you. That night, you go home and scrub the smell of burnt yeast off your skin, but you can't get the baker's eyes out of your head. You buy a BMW. You don't feel better. Level 4, the enforcer. You're 24 and the ledger has been replaced by an AR-15. You're part of a special response cell. 10 men, 3 armored trucks, and a mandate to keep the border clean. A rival cartel, the Zetas, has started moving into your territory. They killed 2 of your Panteros. The order comes down. Erase the message. You find their safe house, a suburban home, with a swing set in the front yard. You don't wait for a plan. You kick the door and unleash hell. In the chaos, 12 people are caught in the crossfire. 6 are enemies. The other 6 were just having dinner next door. The news calls it a tragedy. The governor calls it a priority. But you know the governor. You saw him last week at the Plaza Boss's ranch drinking $500 tequila. Nothing happens. You move into a house with a pool and a high wall. You have a girlfriend who thinks you're a real estate developer. You spend your nights watching the security monitors, waiting for the shadows to move. Level 5, the cell leader. You're 30. You don't pull the trigger anymore. You give the order. You run a city of 100,000 people. You manage the supply, the bribes, and the funerals. You have a legitimate construction company that launders $50 million a year. You have 5 cell leaders reporting to you. One of them is getting sloppy. He's using the product he's supposed to be moving. He's attracting the attention of the DEA. You have to handle it. You invite him to a business dinner. You talk about the old days, about the white dust on the asphalt. Then, as the dessert is served, your bodyguards take him to the basement. You don't watch. You stay upstairs and finish your wine, listening to the muffled thuds from below. The next morning, a body is found hanging from a bridge. It's a message to your men. Loyalty is the only currency that matters. You make $150,000 a month. You have a wife and a daughter in a private school. They think you're a hero. You haven't slept more than 4 hours a night in 3 years. Level 6, the plaza boss. You run an entire state. You are the invisible hand that moves the economy. You generate $20 million a month for the Federation, but you are a ghost. You haven't stood on a public street in 5 years. You live in a fortress in the mountains, protected by 30 men with anti-aircraft guns. Your work is now politics. You negotiate treaties with other jefes. You meet with generals in the dead of night to discuss logistics. You don't use threats, you use shares. You offer them a piece of the empire, a suitcase that changes their family's future forever. If they refuse, you find their mistress, their gambling debts, or their favorite child. You don't kill them unless you have to. A dead general is a problem, but a bought general is a shield. You are a CEO of a global conglomerate. You manage submarines from Colombia and tunnels that run like arteries under the US border. You have everything: the gold watches, the private jets, the exotic animals in your private zoo. But you can't go to your daughter's graduation. You can't visit your mother's grave because a sniper might be waiting among the headstones. You are the most powerful man in the state, and you are a prisoner in a golden cage. Level 7, the cartel leader. You are the Federation. You sit at the very top of a $30 billion empire. Your face is on a most wanted poster in 5 countries. The US has a $10 million bounty on your head. You move between safe houses every 3 days. You don't use phones. You use human messengers who don't know your location until they are blindfolded and driven into the mountains. You've had plastic surgery 3 times. When you look in the mirror, you don't recognize the man staring back. Your own children call you uncle when they see you, which is rare. You meet with the other patrons to divide the map of Mexico like a birthday cake. You take the Gulf, I take the Pacific. It's a gentleman's agreement written in blood, but agreements are fragile. One of your lieutenants gets greedy and sells a shipment behind your back. A war breaks out. 500 people die in a week. The streets of your hometown become a graveyard. You can't stop it. If you try to retire, your own security team will kill you because you know too much. You are a god, but even gods are hunted. Level 8, the end of the road. The betrayal comes from within. Your right-hand man, the one you treated like a son, trades your location for a deal with the DEA. The raid happens at 4 a.m. Flashbangs, Blackhawks, and the cold steel of handcuffs. You don't go to a Mexican prison, you are extradited. You end up in ADX Florence, Colorado, a 7 by 12 foot cell, 23 hours a day in total isolation. The walls are thick, gray concrete. There are no windows. The lights never truly go out. There is no bribery here, no tunnels, no helicopters. You have billions of dollars in offshore accounts that you will never touch. You have an empire that is currently being torn apart by your rivals. All you have now is the silence and the faces of the people you killed to get here. You realize that the blood ledger always balances in the end.